Hello, everyone. Greetings from Israel. We will speak now about the Archive of Immigration, Art, Trauma, and Memory in Israel. And we will talk about children drawings from the National Archive of Israel. And we will ask the questions through those drawings how children drawings reflect experiences of migration and how they were framed within the archive. A bit about myself. I'm Vera Gailis. I'm artist, curator, and researcher and activist working from photography archives and community-based art. I was born in Odessa, Ukraine, and since uh, 2013 I live in Israel. Last 4 years I moved to Tirat Carmel, it's a small city near Haifa, and I'm researching the city layers of history, and this led me to discover those drawings I will tell you about tonight. So, a bit about the place. As I told, it's in the north of Israel near the city of Haifa. You can see this here in the old historical map. I marked the point. Uh, this place is very rich in history. It has Paleolithic founds, it has medieval era locations from crusaders and so on, and it was long time Al-Tira Palestinian Arab village that was depopulated in 1948, and also uh, that is relevant for this presentation. Since 1950s, it was site of Ma'abarot transit camps for Jewish immigrants from North Africa and Europe. Uh, let's start from the uh, overall knowledge about children in archives in global perspective before we go closer to the our case. So archives are adult centric. That was all the prominent researchers on the topic is arguing in their works. Children appear as subjects but rarely as agents, and we have uh, a pretty big amount materials about children, but few materials made by children and none of material that children select to be in archive. Children voice is often mediated by adults. Um, the most common material that we can find in archives all over the world globally is children drawings, and it's a huge piece of testimony, and mostly adults using their drawings as testimony. Madeline Goodman, the researcher of children drawings topic, she's arguing that drawing is the child's primary language of emotions and communications before literacy, before they can explain themselves literally. Drawing can function as documents, testimony, and evidence, not only as art. And since is testimony or evidence and documents, archives often undervalues them as ephemera or use as the propaganda tool, and we will see a bit of this today. There is a lot of historical examples of children's drawings in archives, starting from the huge collection of Spanish Civil War drawings that preserved not only in Spain, also in USA and other places. Drawings from Holocaust, from ghetto and camps, concentrated camps that still are in museums, archives, and other places. The huge archive from Warsaw in Poland with children's diaries and drawings from World War II, and more recent examples of Syrian refugee drawings and the drawings of Ukrainian children that are collected by NGO and preserved in campaign exhibitions and so on. If we look on all those cases I was speaking before, we will see the thematic pattern. Children's drawing in archives appear mainly in context of war, trauma, or catastrophe. It's really rarely preserved drawings of everyday life. This reinforces the image of children as passive victim, but not a cultural contributors. So let's go back to the Israeli Ma'abarot of the place of the our drawings. We will look at them tonight. Those camps were built mostly on the populated Palestinian villages and all British military bases. It was huge wave of immigration. We call it in Israel Aliyah. After the Israeli state was established after Independence War in 1948, and most of these families were housed in tents. We can see it here on the picture, and it was very poor conditions in those camps for the showers, for the roofs, for the school, for everything. And it was a lot of critics for this type of housing, and it was from the politicians and activists and in Knesset, in Israeli parliament. But Ben Gurion, the first minister of Israel, that we can see him in the picture visiting one of these places of Ma'abara, is telling people can live for years in tents. He was, as we see, cynical. Anyone who doesn't want to live in them needn't bother coming here. And we can see the gap of what people was feeling, and children, we will soon go to the children, and what the government and the power was thinking about those places. Who were the children who draw the drawing that we will see now? Some of them who came from Europe, mostly from Romania, was Holocaust survivors by themselves or children of survivors. It's huge amount of trauma bringing with them. Most of the children was from North African immigrants families, and they face different challenges. The experience of dislocation, the marginalization, and the change of and loss of cultural grounding. Most of the children of the drawings are in the age of 4 till 6. Um, Important is that for all of them, Hebrew wasn't the native language. They spoke Arabic, Romanian, Jewish, Persian, and so on. And it was the other stressful part of their life and adaptation in new place, and as we remember, in very bad conditions. So we can imagine what they feel. So those drawings were collected um, from the children in kindergarten uh, and school, and was sent to Ben Gurion, the same prime minister that was skeptical about the struggle, as a collection to show through the government policy then the adaptation is good, and you see even children have time and condition to draw those pictures. But we can see that when I found them, I was myself as an immigrant very skeptical about the happiness of those children. So I um, printed those materials and sent them to a psychotherapist that is working with children. And it's some things I need to acknowledge before we go to the um, analysis. Those drawings were not created in therapy session, but she knew the context, the age that they went through migration and displacement, and it was valid interpretive framework. And also the therapist herself is the new immigrant, and she's also working with the children, new immigrants now, so she has um, the experience with such a conditions. When she looked at the drawing, she told that all the houses are without ground line. So children feel no stability, no foundation, and houses are elevated in the air, detached from the earth. Also, she told that she see a big amount of anxiety and alienation in those drawings. Figure inside houses, uh, it, it's like feel like very small place inside the shadow windows, three trunks. It all show to the therapist anxiety and fear of abandonment. She also mentioned that there is distorted perspective and there is inner tension that it's with those children. She also took attention to the roof that it's are interpreted in the common practice as the fantasy territory, and she thought that all the roofs were big, and this was the place of escaping the reality, that they feel very not safe in the real life, but they look for the safety in the fantasy and were looking there for the protection. There are some other images from the collection, and there is not a lot of them, like around 10 drawings, and we can see the same part that the therapist is talking about. Let's go back to the more wider arrival context in Israel. So I could found very fewer than 10 cases of children drawings in archives. One of them is from Ma'abara. The other one is about the mother of Prime Minister Rabin, the other traumatic case, and other six was holiday drawings and propaganda drawings that was collected in schools and sent to some international friendship exhibitions and was shown as happiness of children and success. So from this, I can see that it's likely the function of this set of drawings is to show successful integration and how good is to live for children in those camps, and how nice is their childhood. And as we know from the therapist and from the wider context, that it was not like this, and it was propaganda approach for sure. So let's try to make conclusion from all this case. Children drawings are unique space of agency in archives. It's something that is very hard to be compared to the adult materials because it's children. It's usually is moderated and instrumentalized by adults and used to propaganda and politics. The researcher of children drawing topic, Marilyn Goodman, is telling us, and I want to tell it other time, drawing is the children's authentic language of feeling and experience. It's really important for them, and they express in drawings their lives and how they see it. And there is a lot of drawings, not just of the catastrophes or disasters or mothers of politicians, but also from the normal life. And I think we need to um take a look also on this and normalize it and value it and preserve it. As an immigrant myself, I see reflection of my own struggles with an adaptation in those uh, drawings and their analysis, and it's really important for me to speak about this. I want to finish my presentation with call to action. I think we need to start to think about developing child centered archival practices that value everyday childhood, not only trauma. I think we can involve children directly in the process as participants, curator, co-moderator, to ask them about what to preserve and what not to preserve. We need to recognize children not only as subject of documentation, but as an active agents shaping their experience of lives. You can find in my presentation all the sources I was using, And thank you very much. I'm waiting for your questions.